Hello, everybody. Welcome to Timesphere, where we have timely discussions that are never on time. Scott, we just finished recording, and it'll be up by now. Our discussion on the Game Awards nominees, kind of our just general thoughts on kind of the landscape of award show stuff in the industry, doing a little bit of predictions, doing our voting, that kind of stuff. Now it is time to talk about news, talk about, we have a very long AI Shame Corner section this week.
We do.
It is actually the majority of our main section, so very much looking forward to that. If you can't tell by my tone, but first, what have you been playing? What let's just do a quick little rundown. Like what you been playing this last week?
This past week, just kind of going through my usual. First I'll go my usual games. My Marvel rivals. I have been playing Battlefield 6. As we can talk about in the Game Awards, got a little bit back into Uma Musume Pretty Derby because the soon-to-be mobile game of the year at the Game Awards, because they announced the new career path, which sort of like spiced up the gameplay, at least made it different than the usual runs people have been doing. But I did roll credits on Dispatch, and obviously, got one of the endings. I would say I got a pretty good ending in terms of like all the like good heroic outcomes that I wanted to have. And I just really got really sad this past Wednesday when there was no more episodes that came out. They did not end up shadow dropping a sort of endless roguelite, the actual dispatching management like mode, which I secretly hoped for, and
I
there was no
I
indication
already
they were
I'm
going
not
to do
even done
that.
with the game yet, and I'm hoping for that too.
Yeah, I maybe that's a Game Awards announcement. Maybe there's a
That'd
something
be a really
announcement
good
because I
Game Awards announcement, actually, to get people
yeah,
hyped on the stage with the game.
and maybe even tease a season two, because
I
I
don't
think
think
that's
they're ready for that yet, especially since they've already come out and said they're thinking about it now. I don't think they were far enough along to even like.
hmm,
I mean, sure, maybe they now they can be like,
maybe
if they
now that because they've sold 2 million copies, they could be like, all right, we're doing it.
yeah, but I think that takes a little more
And because
planning.
they're independent, they don't have a publisher above them. So if they want to do it, they can do it.
That's
Good for
true.
them.
If it fast tracked, sure, but I think they're probably not going to do that. They might
You
announce
can see
that mode though. I could see
you
that.
can see Aaron Paul and War Bailey for it on stage again, which if you play the game, actually makes a lot of sense.
I'm so ready.
Um,
I just really like the game. Dispatch.
yeah, it's
By
really
the time I'm done, Dispatch might. So obviously, we talked a little bit about what our game of the years might be. Probably have a more detailed discussion on like our game of the years closer to that. Obviously, I'll probably by the I don't know if it'll be up by the time this is going up, but by around the time this is going up, I'll have my like pitch to like open submission for media friends to submit their game of the year plus a I haven't settled on the name yet, but something similar to like a boost power thing where it's going to be they send in their game of the year in like a paragraph or two, and then a game that they think needs to be highlighted more uh
mm,
for like games media people to submit for the first annual booster blogs game of the year kind of post that I'm going to do. And then I'm also going to do an open sheet where people can submit their own game of the year, and then also like their a game that they think needs to be shouted out more, and that's going to be tabulated on like a just a graph instead of like people writing in and stuff because I want to highlight the like just open community stuff too. So if you have thoughts about your game of the year, look out for that because there will be a way for you to submit that. We'll highlight that on the show too once we get the data in. But yeah, I'm excited to finish Dispatch. I really want to finish that this weekend.
mm.
And then I'm gonna jump into
What's your plan?
Blueprints.
Okay.
Yeah, Blueprints is just next on my list. I've been playing some Marvel Rivals.
Hmm.
I was playing some Pokemon ROM hacks allegedly on traditional hardware, but they crashed on me, so like I lost my progress on two different ones independently of each other, which sucked because I put probably like 4 or 5 hours into each of them. And then I've just been playing another one that's like an older one that I've gone back to a couple times. Gonna finally finish that. But that's just kind of my like I'm sitting in my chair watching a basketball or something game because I can turn my brain off for
Yeah.
traditional Pokemon combat and whatnot at this point. I am going to do I don't know if I'm going to do it as content or something, but I am going to do a can I name all 1025 Pokemon. There's an app for that now where it'll track you. So I'm going to try and do that with no help and see if I can do it. And I'm un like I am unreasonably confident I can do it. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Because I
I
guarantee I
like
can do the entirety of gens 1 through 5 with my eyes closed.
that.
And then from there, but there's 4 more gens after that. So we'll see. But
I think my next game it'll either be The Outer Worlds 2, or because I'm gonna get the PS5 will show up soon, I think, and then I'm getting a new TV on this upcoming Wednesday, and so I may just hop right into Ghost of Yotei. I may play Astrobot, even though I watch my girlfriend play most of it. I just
Astrobot's dope.
I want
That was pretty
to
high up on my
Astrobot
game of the list
looked
last
incredible.
year.
I played like a couple levels, and I was like, yeah, this is great. I love this. And then there's a whole PlayStation catalog for me to explore. I have played the original Marvel Spider-Man. I haven't played 2 or Miles Morales, so that'll be on my list as well. So I've got a lot of work to do. A game that I won't be playing, and that a lot of people aren't playing as much as we get into our first story here, is Call of Duty Black Ops 7, and it looks like the series has hit rock bottom? Question mark. We shall see. We'll see. So for those who weren't aware, Call of Duty released at the beginning of this month, because this is the time, end of October, early November, and it's not looking good. It's not looking good, bruv.
It
So for
looks
context,
very bad. It looks terrible. It looks like it is reviewing very poorly. So if I pull up I'm trying to is there not I was trying to pull up like an every COD review score kind of thing to
yeah, I
see.
was looking at Open Critic, and they usually will do that. They'll show like, oh, this is how it compares to previous CODs, and I don't see that,
I
but
found a graph
um,
uh from like the
mhm,
original COD to now. I don't know how reliable this is. This is from it doesn't list a source, but it looks like this is through Vanguard, so it's not up to date. This is 4 years ago, so it's missing a couple CODs, but it looks like them. You go from like COD is like a 90, 91 ish, and
mhm,
then it drops through COD 2 to COD 3. Both those are
mhm,
like dipping. So most of the games are above an 80 except for Ghosts, which looks to be like an 76.
sure.
Uh, Infinite Warfare dropped to like a similar ish, and then it dips really heavy with like post Black Ops 4. It's like Modern Warfare, Black Ops Cold War, Vanguard. It's just like a straight graph down, and it's not
It goes down and
recovering
down and
now.
down. I will say Black Ops 6, which came out last year, was a bit of an uptick. I'm just looking at that on OpenCritic right now. 83 the top critic average is 83. Critics recommend 91. Player rating 80. Strong according to their levels.
For reference, Call of Duty Black Ops 7 top critic average is a 67. Critics recommend
Mhm.
it only 43% of the time, and the player rating is at a 20.
Yeah.
And
So it's
yeah,
not looking good.
I'll run through a couple of the highlights here from like some of these blurbs, and then I want to read specifically a bit from Lex Luddy's restart run review of this, which got a lot of traction online the last couple days for both good and bad reasons. People are stupid and can't read. Media literacy is in the toilet as expected. But yeah, so Tom Bardwell from Video Gamer. Between a dire campaign, samey multiplayer, and a pervading sense of stagnation, Call of Duty Black Ops 7 is a disappointment and serves as perhaps the worst Call of Duty titles in years. 4 out of 10. Jamie Tugayev from DualShockers, 5.5 out of 10. All of the fun of zombies is not enough to spare Black Ops 7 from being the worst game in the franchise, and the only saving grace is that it might serve as a cautionary tale about complacency when managing popular franchises. Jordan Midler, VGC, 3 out of 5 stars. Call of Duty Black Ops 7's multiplayer is some of the finest the series has had to offer in years. It's just a shame it's tied to a baffling, turgid, ridiculous campaign that makes a great argument for stopping Call of Duty campaigns altogether. 7 games is plenty. The Black Ops series has run its course. And then I will do one more. This one is going to be from, let's see. I'm trying to find like a good one here that's like kind of, yeah. Here's Nathan Warby from Dexerto. More of like a competitive outlet in terms of like where people might focus. Black Ops 7 has the worst Call of Duty campaign of all time, but another solid multiplayer with great maps and an addictive zombies mode mean there's still plenty of fun to be had. That's like a 3 out of 5 stars. That's the most glowing review I'm willing to give it. That's not like clearly someone that like there's a couple like 7 out of 10s and stuff that I read
Mhm.
through, and it just didn't feel like it had an impact on like what they were talking about, which is why before I let you lead off into a discussion about like your
It
thoughts
got
on
it
the
got a
game itself.
100 out of 100 on Gaming Tread. David Burdett gave it a perfect score.
I don't know, man.
It's
It
just it's baffling.
Well, over on Restart Run, Lex Slutty gave it a 1 out of 5 stars and said the first couple lines here are so good. At its best, Call of Duty Black Ops 7 is an underwhelming iteration on a long running franchise that does little more than tweak the balancing numbers, trim back dislike features of previous games, and continue on a Byzantine zombies narrative. At its worst, it's an insult to the franchise, the developers, the players, and the video game medium that feels like a sneering condemnation to those of us who think video games can be a worthwhile art form or stand for anything other than than rank optimal optimization by a corporation that truly does not care about humans. Few games will leave you feeling apathy like Black Ops 7. There is no way to interact with this game without being frustrated. If you're a fan of the long-running family drama of the Masons, you'll feel like you are speedrunning through a hollow highlights reel of moments from the first 2 Black Ops games, with much of the choreographed cinematic bombast cut out so that it functions in co-op. On the other hand, if you're new to the decade-spanning story, pretty much every moment of note will be lost on you, leaving you with an experience akin to several subpar Destiny strikes strung together.
That's so good.
Jesus Christ.
Lex kind of cooked with this, and
This review is there have been so many good reviews. Reviewing games media, bad place. People actually reviewing games and cooking with their reviews. Oh, we're so back.
yeah,
Uh,
I like to think Activision looking at this, going, "Is this good? It's not, or is this bad? It's not good."
they can't read. They can't
um,
read. The executives
Lex
can't read.
Lex's so at the top of Lex's review, they have the pros and cons, and that pretty much sums up what the gist is from reviews across the board. Pros: movement and gun feel remain best in class. Sure, because it's always been good, and they don't change anything, and it's just like they just like little subtle tweaks to make it feel a little smoother. There's like a wall jump now. That was fun. I tried in the beta. Yeah, it's great. And zombies seems largely fine for like that mode. Also, what I've been hearing, zombies is fun.
I've
It's
heard
more like
zombies is
classic
fine.
zombies.
Everything else, multiplayer's
Yeah,
fine. The maps
as
are
the old
fine.
zombies, not the old zombies. The more recent zombies was essentially their DMZ extraction shooter mode, except they put zombies in it, and then they made a PVE. And so it's like you remove the stakes of an extraction shooter because there's no PvP aspect to it. It's just you fighting zombies, and it's really weird. Cons: campaign. The campaign. Okay, so I'm just gonna the campaign has easily been the biggest red the biggest negative on this game. Just the line about intermittent or like subpar Destiny strikes strung together is so accurate. I think the lasting image that people have seen if they haven't played the game themselves is this weird giant
Oh, giant
iteration
Michael
of like,
Rooker. Yeah.
yeah, like that you fight. It's like a boss battle. It is like fighting a boss in Destiny as opposed to like and for a game that really, for a series that really just had some spectacular campaigns over the years, the original Modern Warfare campaign, the original, like the original Black Ops campaign as well. Black Ops used to be like so revered within Call of Duty, like the first 1, 2, 3 were considered some of the best. And boy, like, I mean, last year was you know a bit of a return to form, and then just all that goodwill just completely gone to waste.
It just feels
And
like this every decision here, and we'll get on to another. It just feels like executive dumping ground. It feels
yeah,
like the creativity was just drained out, and whatever was told, whatever through line here was actually approved just doesn't mesh with what Call of Duty is.
the 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 thing I would say is like, so the thing is like with like, I think at the end of the day, Activision Blizzard and Microsoft and people make Call of Duty, I don't think they care about review scores.
They do
I
not.
don't think they've ever cared. They care about the amount of people playing their game and the perception around their game. And there's probably less people playing this game than in previous Call of Duties. So for context, and this is just for context, this is only Steam numbers. So of course this doesn't include console, which obviously would have a huge portion of Call of Duty players. Does include people who have it through Game Pass Ultimate, but still, I think it's a good inflection because last year's Black Ops 6 was released on console, was on Game Pass. So um, last year's Black Ops 6, which released. Let me see here. Let me
Similar
get
time
the
frame. It was a similar time
similar
frame.
similar time frame. So the week of let me get the exact data so make sure we are correct. Black Ops 6 release date. So that one released October 25th, and um, so the Monday after that game released, or after October Black Ops 6 came out, it peaked on Steam at 315,000 players. Within a month, it kind of these games always trickle down. They have every game does it. They have their big trickle down, but usually when the new one comes out, it spikes all the way back up.
Yep.
This the opening weekend. Actually, I stand corrected. In March of 2025, I don't remember what this was associated with, but it was going around 70,000, spiked back up to around 140,000.
I think that was a
Maybe
free.
a big
I think there was a free weekend.
free weekend or new season or something. But we get now into the past month, and new game comes out. Its opening weekend. The Friday it comes out. So Friday is usually like the opening weekend is pretty telling. And I remember when we were looking at the numbers on Friday, it was like 80 less than 100,000. I thought, is this game gonna break 100,000 on Steam on opening weekend? If it doesn't, even considering that all the people who are on console and playing on Game Pass, I think it's a bad sign. It, according to Steam charts, just barely got to 100,000 by like literally 300 people,
There
332 people.
there are too many other options.
Yes,
Too
I was
many
just gonna
other
say
like
Battlefield
not
6
only just
and Arc Raiders.
Arc Raiders. Tarkov just launched on Steam.
Yep.
A bunch of other smaller shooter games, older shooter games
Marvel
that are still going.
Marvel
Marvel
Rivals new
Rivals,
season.
Overwatch 2 is
New hero
having its
just dropped.
renaissance. Like,
Yep.
like that's another Activision. Like that's Activision Blizzard still. Like
Yes.
there are too many other options, too many other free to play options, too many other smaller games that are critically acclaimed, too many people that are starting to slowly break out of their Call of Duty shell and start exploring other games, especially like the kids who are like the difference now is that the people who were like Call of Duty players back on like the PS3, Xbox 360 era when that first like online first became like a huge thing for console gamers and Call of Duty exploded, those Call of Duty kids are not the same Call of Duty kids now. People that are Call of Duty kids now are the jocks who play like the quote unquote jocks that are big into video games, but typically still trend towards the FIFAs, the 2Ks, the MLB, the shows, and then the Call of Duties, and maybe like the Battlefields. But those kids are so ingrained in video game culture and nerd culture that they are more likely to break out of that shell earlier and go explore these other games and then realize, oh, this Call of Duty isn't worth my money, or oh, this game isn't worth my money and time. I'm going to go play these critically acclaimed games that are cheaper, more affordable, respect my time better. Don't shove microtransactions down my face. All these other things, like there's so many factors that go into why this Call of Duty is underperforming by all metrics. And then just like being panned like this because the audience is not the same. I'll probably have a conversation with my buddy Will at some point on the podcast about like the audience that reviewers are writing to is different from the audience actually playing these games. But even the audience actually playing these games, which are the quote unquote normies, who might only buy 2 or 3 games a year and are typically more geared towards buying a Call of Duty and a 2K than buying a Blueprints, even like a Hollow Knight Silksong, which I know broke out in most terms of like a lot of people still know about Hollow Knight, even if they're a Call of Duty person. Those people are even looking at this Call of Duty and being like, why would I spend money on that versus Battlefield, which is like reviewing better by most metrics or getting better. Like my buddies are playing it and they're saying it's better.
The thing that I think really well, also, I mean, let's not act like it's just like the audience and like the market that has changed. It's also a very poor quality Call of Duty game.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, by all metrics, this Call of Duty, as you explained and as we just touched on, is a lesser product, not just by its critical reception and whatnot, but by what it's offering at its scale, and then we're gonna touch on it, but alleged use of AI assets, like just blatantly to replace some of the things that people can collect.
The only group that I think this really appeals to are the people who buy every COD every year, like, and not even all of them anymore, but the people who like are addicted to having the new Call of Duty and doing the multiplayer grind and prestiging and doing all the progression. And but even them, a lot of them now have an alternative in Battlefield 6, which offers many of the same things, and a different experience, a more fun experience, a more cinematic, enjoyable experience. I mean, listen, the Battlefield 6 campaign was also nothing to write home about. It was pretty much just like it was very basic, like it's kind of like, I guess we need a campaign, let's throw something together. But like, clearly their main focus was making quality multiplayer and making a good multiplayer experience because of the poor reception the previous Battlefields got. Whereas Call of Duty had a campaign that just completely missed the boat. I'm not sure how much effort went into it, but like it clearly not a lot of critical thinking in terms of what people want for a Call of Duty campaign. And then the multiplayer, apart from like slightly different guns and like the little wall jump, is just largely the same. Most of the devices, most of the guns are similar to previous guns. The devices are just the same, just called something else. Except there's like a tech sniper rifle you can fire through walls that shows you characters through walls, which people saw were like, oh my god. And then like from a competitive esports side, like when Call of Duty League starts up next season, everyone's just gonna GA or get rid of all the guns that are fun or interesting, so just running the same ARs and SMGs all the time. It's just and the one thing I did want to touch on, it is what, like 2 weeks after this game came out, like within the first 2 weeks, the people who would be grinding this game and who people on Twitch would be watching, the people who would be grinding this game and just going all out, they're not playing it. No, you're Tim the Tatman, your nade shot. Scump always does it because I think he contractually has to because he works for Optic. But
There's a whole level of it. Yeah, yeah.
Everyone else who would normally be grinding a new Call of Duty when it comes out is playing Arc Raiders instead, and a little bit.
There
of
are so many other better games.
Nade Shot, who is like famous, like his pro career was Call of Duty.
The COD
who has
guy
100
for a lot of
because
people.
of Call of Duty is like the COD, like a COD guy is not even playing this game. I mean, I feel like he's been kind of distancing himself from COD for a couple years now, but like I'm not even sure if he's even touched this new one.
Look,
it's we can talk about the AI thing now because Jesus Christ, like what the
I just want to lead it off with I was scanning while you were going off. I was scanning through this article to see if there's like any actual like meat to like what this means, because obviously shout out to Steam again, which continues to just be the best marketplace for games on, like, sure, it's still Monopoly and yeah, there's some bad things about it, but they do make people disclose if they use generative AI and other AI tools in their game, which is how we found out about the Arc Raider stuff, which we'll talk about a little bit more later. But apparently Activate, so a lot of especially single like campaign / in-game calling cards and stuff that you would usually use to customize your player profiles and stuff and your tags and everything in Call of Duty, yeah, a lot of them look like they've been generated by AI. They have the same AI look to them. They have the same AI kind of like color pattern, that like weird kind of yellowy overlay across every color, even though they're supposed to be darker. They look like AI. There's nothing disproving that they're AI. People are calling it out. It's all over the place. Who knows what other AI tools might have been used? Obviously, this is all alleged because we can't verify this right away, even though it looks like it and it looks pretty blatant. People are calling it out. Good. People are having varied reactions to it. Honestly, it sucks, blah, blah, blah. I don't understand why the developers would do this. Who knows how much the developers had to say in it. But apparently, Charlie Intel got a statement from an Activision spokesperson. And it goes, like so many around the world, we use a variety of digital tools, including AI tools, to empower and support our teams to create the best gaming experiences possible for our players. Our creative process continues to be led by the talented individuals in our studio. And that's the entire statement. So
for real.
this game not only underdelivers on basically every aspect of what COD people wanted, except for maybe like some of the gunplay, because I know they changed the movement up. It is now using generative AI assets instead of the assets that you would have had in the game dating back to what? The earliest iteration of the Xbox 360. Like, I played Black Ops 2. That's the only COD game that I personally purchased. I purchased it post launch, but some buddies in high school convinced me to get Battlefield 4 and Black Ops 2 because they wanted me to play some shooters with them. I enjoyed Black Ops 2 for what it was. I enjoyed going through and customizing my cards and customizing my player profile and everything. If I played the game and I saw art like this, I would immediately refund the game. And that's not just my stance on AI. That is me as a consumer looking at that and be like, this is terribly, this looks awful. This looks terrible. And there's it's a like, whole other can of worms. I just remembered that we're missing an entire story. We're about to get in the AI shame corner after this, but you saw the League of Legends stuff, right?
No, I didn't see the League of Legends stuff.
Apparently, there's they worked with a Chinese studio that released like an AI video for some.
It was like a cinematic.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I did see this. Yeah,
I forgot about it when I was doing the show notes, and I talked to Cece. We're gonna get C on at some point to talk. Another one of our former coworkers to talk about esports and like that kind of stuff. She at some point, so we'll probably dive deep into it there. But this is just getting more and more common, and none of it looks good. That got so much backlash they immediately had to release a statement about it. Like, no one wants this except for the executives. It all looks bad. It all doesn't add any qualitative content. It's quantity. And it's bad quantity. Like, no one's going to use no one is going to use these images.
No, it's and like calling cards, like it's such like a.
It's like, insignificant. It's such an insignificant.
They're so insignificant, but that's probably where their thinking came from. They're like, they're so insignificant. We'll just do AI. Who gives a shit? It's like, well, like, no, you should think of it like this. It's so insignificant that like we don't need to do anything crazy. Just like draw up some calling cards. Like it doesn't need to be like you're not painting the Sistine Chapel. Just like give them a weed skin, make a skull with flaming eyes, make a gun shooting. Like it's just
you have artists in house that can do that. You don't even have to commission.
You have so many old ones. You could just put the old ones in. No one cares.
Bring them back. HD. I'm so tired of it, dude. It sucks.
They're grinding because players are grinding for gun camos, new attachments to unlock new guns. Like I'm sure some do, but overall, like most Call of Duty players don't give a fuck about calling.
Exactly. They find one cool one that they got like 20 after they clear the campaign and run with it.
They want a cool operator skin. They want a cool gun skin. They want to unlock new guns, get attachments for them. They want a prestige. There's so many ways they can progress. Like calling cards is so not important to them, but like at the same time, but again, that's what I get. The point is like that's probably where they went wrong. They thought, oh, it's so unimportant. Let's just use AI crap. Well, it's like it's so unimportant.
That's where all of them are looking. That's where all of these executives are looking at. Though Square Enix trying to replace most of QA by 2027 with it. A lot of companies are going to try and do that. Concept art. We're going to talk about that with Ubisoft getting caught, just like we talked a little bit about it in the Game Awards episode, where we were like, how can we justify voting for Clair Obscur Expedition 33 if it did indeed use AI assets for part of its stand-in stuff in whatever? And sure, they replaced it, and the overall weight of the art and what it provides and the quality of everything, sure, it outweighs that. But where do we draw the line here? This is a blatant, like, I will not be buying this game, and I'm probably not going to, like, I don't know where I'm drawing the line in terms of where I'm going to stop supporting.
Black Ops 7 anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, but like, the idea here is they're replacing concept artists. They're replacing asset models. They're replacing placeholder stuff. They're replacing QA. They're replacing this. Where do they draw the line in terms of what they view as important enough to that it can't be replaced by AI? My answer is, outside of the people that are actually running the studios and the main creative team that is designing what will actually be in the game and how to put it in a principled way, put it into a design document to where it'll make the production flow and make a stable product, I don't think they have a line. And that sucks. No. We need to move on from Call of Duty to talk about this. But this is we're just going to start. I'm just going to start running. Just talk when you want, Scott. Let me know when you want to start tuning in. Cause I put together 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 AI topics that we need to talk about in our patented AI shame corner. Insert non-existent graphic here.
Big corner this week.
Yeah. So it's actually not a corner. It's actually a pentagon now because it's got 5 points this week. But we don't want to get involved with the U.S. government, especially since they are
Yeah.
also AI garbage. So
The AI shame just hit the Pentagon.
yeah, God, if only maybe it'd be useful then. Um. Anyways,
Replace our government with AI.
yeah, this is God. Maybe they'd be better. Uh,
Yeah, honestly.
this is from Chris Scullion over at VGC. Fired Subnautica 2 leads allege the Krafton CEO asked ChatGPT how to get out of paying their $250 million bonuses. So if you didn't know, Subnautica 2 slated to come out this year. Subnautica 2 leads, including the co-founders of the studio, the CEO, the director, etc., several high-profile members of the Subnautica 2 studio, Unknown Worlds, which was purchased by Krafton, were supposed to get bonuses when that game came out, ranging from like hundreds of thousands to like multi-million dollars up to like $250 million essentially, which Krafton doesn't want to pay, especially since they're pivoting all the way to AI, which we talked about last week or the week before that. It all runs together. These companies suck ass. uh Basically, they're putting their briefs together for the lawsuit because they're suing Krafton. Some of these briefs have been obtained by like these pre-trial briefs have been obtained by some different people, including VGC, who's put some stuff together. They were basically the co-founders here are like already concerned that Krafton had paid too much to acquire Unknown Worlds. And then the CEO feared that making any earnout payment to the founders would earn him a reputation as a pushover / endanger his position as CEO. And then the statement adds, since Krafton could not concede the founders to delay the game, convince the founders to delay the game, Kim searched for another way to cancel the earnout, including firing people, delaying the game through whatever means possible, even though it was probably ready to go. Uh, the brief claims that the CEO of Krafton turned to artificial intelligence to help him brainstorm ways to avoid paying the earnout, end quote, but that, quote, ChatGPT likewise advised that it would be difficult to cancel the earnout.
Even ChatGPT was like, "Bro, you gotta pay these guys. This isn't gonna work."
This is so
Comically
inexplicably stupid. Like, this dude is running a multi-million-dollar company that is talking about pivoting to AI. AI couldn't answer a simple question. You put yourself into this position because you bought the studio on the back of Subnautica being a huge hit, developing Subnautica 2, and being like, yeah, we'll pay out like $250 million for bonuses to release this game.
That seems okay. Like, I have no idea like how bonuses in game dev work. Does that seem like really high? Like,
Yes.
I'm not
Now
it seems like
they
it's
bought
like a lot of money.
they bought Subnautica during the COVID. I believe they bought Unknown Worlds during the COVID boom when video games were up, 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 up. Everybody was hiring. Everybody was like scaling up. Everybody was trying to make more games
Great.
because
This will never go down. The bubble will never burst.
capitalism, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So my guess is they did that because they thought they could use the studio to make Subnautica 2 and make all that money back and give. I don't know what they were thinking. All these people are stupid. Anybody that's a CEO at a lot of these companies, especially like that are tech focused or have these AI focuses or whatever. I don't, because there's a fire back from the PUBG's the creator of PUBG was basically firing back at the Krafton, being like, this is stupid. We don't want to use AI. This is stupid. This guy's stupid. Man, I don't know. This is dumb as bricks. People in charge of these multi-million-dollar companies just making the dumbest decisions possible. You ready for Ubisoft now, Scott?
You insist.
Ubisoft says AI generated Anno art, I believe it's pronounced Anno, art slipped through its review process. This is from Ethan Gach over at Kotaku. Anno 117, or I guess it's 117 Pax Romana, is just like it's a strategy game, takes franchise city building formula back to the ancient empires, but used modern generative AI tools in the development process. Fans have already begun ripping into one particularly egregious looking piece of AI generated imagery. Basically, there's at least one, if not multiple, pieces of like art that slipped into the main game. I use slipped very generally. Just they don't have people checking to make sure like stuff doesn't go through to the main version of the game. It was AI generated art that they apparently had as placeholder. Ubisoft spokesperson gave this message to Kotaku and said, This image was a placeholder asset that unintentionally slipped through our review process. The final image is attached here and will replace the current version of the artwork with the upcoming 1.3 patch, with Anno 117 Pax Romana being our most ambitious Anno yet. We've assembled the largest team of artists ever for the franchise, and to help meet the project's unique scope, they used AI tools for iterations, prototyping, and exploration. Every element players will experience in the final game reflects the team's craft, artistry, and creative visions. I'm done. If you have more artists than any other version of the game in franchise history, and you still use AI art to cut corners, I cannot fathom how the thought process here works. Prove it. I haven't looked into Ubisoft's like earnings call that happened today because they pushed it back or whatever. Haven't looked at anything about the dumpster fire that is that company.
Which they said they were doing to reduce speculation, but only invited much more speculation. That's concerning.
Who worked on this game? I want to see the credits. I want to see the team of artists. I want to verify they worked on this game. I want to I want to talk to them to see what the workflow was on this game. I want to see like how overworked they were, what the time frame for the project was, and then I want to understand why they had to use AR art. Sketch it. Sketch placeholder. Use that to fill the placeholder.
Yeah.
Don't need colors. Just general outline of like what they were going to do. It could be even the early version of the final work.
Yeah. Stick figures for all I care.
I do not understand this. If the more games that are going to do this, the less games I'm going to buy.
Yeah.
Like,
and the more games that do this and realize that they can get away with it if they issue an apology.
That's what we were talking. That's what I was talking about with the Claire Obscure stuff. It's like, so I'll bring this up now. I had it at a look at the lower point, where there's a singular instance, at least from what I could find, of Claire Obscure or like early game, some textures or some like art assets on like a pole using what appeared to be generative AI. I don't know if it was ever confirmed. I didn't have time to go do that digging, and I probably will if we bring this up again. But the point is, they replaced it. It was very small use case, but how much of their pre-builds for these games used AI art? We don't know. No one said it. If these companies can continue to do this, even at the scale of like a Sandfall Interactive or whatever with Claire Obscure, yes, small team, yes, cutting corners will let them spend more time to make the rest of the game great. But we can't, if we allow that in terms of like media and consumers, then we are going to slowly start allowing the floodgates to open, and we are going to allow for more AI replacement in development because they're going to see, oh, we can cut corners here because these smaller teams are doing it. Or whatever. Yeah. And the big companies are going to do it anyways. Big companies just want to screw everybody out of whatever they can to make more money. Doesn't matter. I am, and we were going to talk about this later, but we won't have time. The Warner Brothers getting ready to sell, and like the generative, like these companies, Disney Plus doing generative AI content on its platform. The more companies that embrace AI, the more game developers that embrace AI, the more publishers that embrace AI, the more selective I'm going to be with my games that I play, the games that I support with my writing and my time. And I know that's not going to make an impact on these bigger companies, but I will be more selective in the media that I consume, because I cannot look at this and be okay with it when there's so much other stuff I could be giving my attention to and supporting and signal boosting or whatever. The only reason we had the AI shame corner is because as journalists, like past, present, future, whatever we're going to be doing from here on out, like we have to call this out because some people won't know. I have not seen enough people bring up, outside of like the games journalist sphere, which I've seen a couple times, bring up the AI element of Claire Obscure, even as little as it was. It's an important thing to bring up. It's an important thing to highlight for discussion base. I haven't seen enough people highlight the AI element of Arc Raiders, which is, yes, a completely isolated use case that studio is doing, but it still exists. and
Yeah,
still needs
and
to be talked about.
it's more of a it contributes to the slippery slope model where it's like,
Yes,
well, this is okay, and it's like, well, it's right. It's sort of like with video game pricing. It's like, well, $60 is okay. Well, now 70, if you have to pay
$70,
$70,
$80, $90,
I'll pay $80.
$100. But
Yeah.
Crunchyroll and how they're screwing over, uh, like the subtitle team and translators.
Mhm.
All these companies, they're trying to cut corners because they think they can cut corners because consumers will just ignore it and continue to consume, even though the quality gets worse.
Yeah.
Like
And
all the
they're betting on that, and that's the I don't want to say smart bet, but like it's just the
it's
reality of
gonna work.
things.
It's gonna work because
Yeah.
what's the alternative for some of these people? Like piracy is, I want the thing that I want most in the world is to be able to, if I have money, streamline what I'm consuming through
Mhm.
supporting, even if it's a big company, supporting where it can be officially purchased and or watched or played or whatever.
Mhm.
Uh, I am not going to support a company that cuts corners and uses AI on translations. I'm not going to cut corners when and play a game or play a game and support and buy a game when that company is just not hiring artists and using AI art instead. Same with
Yeah.
AI voice acting. Same with AI generative assets. Any of that
Mhm.
kind of stuff, I am going to take a stand. We talked about it a little bit last week. Level 5 has been open, and that I think Deca Police is going to use ChatGPT to generate some of the text for and some of the some of the stuff for their quest lines or whatever when that game launches
Mhm.
next year. They have AI placeholder art in the new Inazuma 11 game, which is selling really well. It's sold 500,000 copies already. Cool. Great.
Mhm.
People are buying the game
Mhm.
anyways. If Professor Layton and the World of Steam comes out next year, whenever it comes out, and has AI, used AI art, has AI assets, use ChatGPT for anything, I'm not going to buy it. I will not be playing a game that I have been hoping for over a decade in one of my favorite franchises of all time, because I will not support a game, especially a game that promotes creativity and
Mhm.
thinking and aspects of, hey, you need to like understand your surroundings and the importance of the details.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. It
that's like beating my head with a hammer
mm.
in terms of like the irony.
Completely missing the boat. Yeah.
Like whatever, we got to move on to the next one. This is
Before we move on, I just wanna check on my dog real quick, see
do
what she's
it.
up
Go.
to.
I'll lead this in. You already know what Shroud's talking about. So for those of you who don't know, Shroud had a whole campaign talking about like how Arc Raiders needs to win Game of the Year, how multiplayer gamers are like in the minority, and we need to tell everyone and talk to everyone about like how we need to like push for this game to win Game of the Year because we can't do this, can't do that, whatever. That was a week ago, I want to say. I was just giving background for the Shroud stuff. Uh, so with all that said, with Shroud being like his specific wording here is very funny in terms of like us multiplayer gamers are the minority. The quote is us multiplayer gamers are the minority. Okay, we're the minority being multiplayer gamers, but I believe we can win. I believe we just need to tell everyone. He goes on and on about the awards being rigged. Never voted for anything, but I think I'm going to vote here because I think we can win this. We got to make sure this game wins Game of the Year. Do not let Expedition win Game of the Year. Do not let it. Absolutely not. We have to band together. Just like talking up Arc Raiders, which is fine. Like, oh yeah, I really like this game. He's played so many hours of that game. His
Yeah.
community loves the game. Like his friends are playing the game. I get it. If I felt that strong, like when Xenoblade Chronicles 3 was up for Game of the Year, I knew it wasn't gonna win. But like when
Mhm.
I talked to friends about it, and they'd be like, "Oh, that's the game you really like, right?" And I was like, "Yeah," and I think it deserves to be up there
Yeah.
for Game of the Year.
The irony of him seeing like, oh, the Queer Obscure is like shows that it's that the world's not ready for AI in video games. Literally, we just talked about they were literally
Are you
used
ready?
AI
Are
for
you ready
playing
for that
sports.
quote? Are you ready for me to give you that quote?
Yeah, I think it's well. First of all, I have to laugh at him saying that multiplayer gamers are in the minority when I think
So
that's
stupid.
literally the most people are multiplayer
The
gamers
ones
and
that
most people
10 out of
are
the like
marketed to.
7 out of the 10 games every month on like the best selling list on consoles are multiplayer games. for the most
Most
part.
played games on Steam right now: Counter Strike, Dota 2, Arc Riders, Battlefield 6. Where Winds Meet. I don't know which one
That's a
that is.
multiplayer. That's a potentially multiplayer new gotcha game.
Rust,
Gotcha game.
Marvel Rivals, PUBG Battlegrounds. Then it's like the Source engine. Like I don't know. I don't know
You
why
know
the
what
search
that's
engine
used
doesn't.
for? Modding multiplayer games.
Yes, so we'll count that. Banana. That's like
That's a
the one.
clicker.
That's the one that isn't. That's like a quicker like weird crypto
Well, Where
scam
Winds Meet can
bullshit.
be single player too. It's like an
Yeah.
RPG kind of
Call
like
of
free to play
Duty.
thing.
It's
Look,
and
I
then like
media literacy
Path
is
of
down the toilet.
Exile is
I
the
don't
first like actual single player game on the top of the list.
let's I
I
basically when Shroud found out that Arc Raiders was not nominated for Game of the Year, I watched the video of this before because I wanted the context of like how he said it.
Mhm.
Another rigged year is the headline from this. This is Catherine Lewis over at Games Radar Plus. This is uh he specifically says the world is just not ready for AI in video games. Not yet. They're not ready. Which is why I said he's basically becoming an AI mouthpiece unintentionally. I don't know if he like cares. I don't know what his stance is on generative AI and like
I'll tell you what his stance is. His stance is he's a content creator that wants clicks and views and attention, so he's saying stuff that gets clicks and views and attention. That's his stance.
fair.
That's it.
And he goes on and says, "But hey, at least it's nominated for something. I genuinely thought they wouldn't nominate it for anything because they were scared to get backlash, but at least they nominated for something, so that's good." Uh, Once again, another year, another rigged year. That's crazy. And then, not only that, then he goes on and says the wildest part of the statement, other than just being pro AI, and says, imagine Donkey Kong winning. If Donkey Kong would win, this award show is just chalked, you know? Who the fuck is playing Donkey Kong Bonanza? Nobody's playing Donkey Kong Bonanza. Nobody. Brother, you are like some of these streamers, especially
Go
the bigger
outside,
ones, they do
brother.
not understand the industry that they are like adjacent to. They only see the games that they are interested in and focusing on or have involvement in and don't understand the impact of some of these other games. This brother was talking up Mega Bonk so much like when that came out. Great, awesome, deserving. The game's good.
Yeah, cool
And
game.
it was
Yeah, very
nominated
cool
for
game.
stuff and everything. Awesome. Does he think Mega Bonk is more impactful than Donkey Kong? Like if I asked this man, I genuinely think he would say yes.
He would, yeah, no, because they live in a streaming bubble, and only games that stream well are important to them. So it's Arc Raiders, it's Battlefield,
Sorry your
it's
audience doesn't like Nintendo, Shroud.
Mega Bonk. Yeah. Well, here's the thing: Nintendo doesn't make games for people to stream; they make games for people to play. Like, and listen, like Arc Raiders looks fun. I know, like the AI concerns, blah blah blah. Like every time I see clips of Arc Raiders, I'm like, do I want? Like, I get tempted to play it.
Oh.
Like games that are popular on stream are usually pretty fun. Like Peak was really popular on stream. We both love Peak.
I love
Marvel
Peak, yeah.
Rivals does decent streaming numbers.
We play so much fucking Marvel Rivals.
Yeah. You guys don't even know what Marvel Rivals
We
playing. But like it's
Yeah.
it's just every Shroud opinion I see recently is, like I said earlier, is I think or maybe I said it during the Game Awards talk, is against my will, and it's just like I
Yeah.
just keep like and like it's because he'll say something and all like the Twitter accounts that thrive off engagement, they'll retweet it and maybe attach their own asinine opinion. It's just that's everything. Everything now is just like engagement bait.
It's
just
all
like,
engagement bait, yeah.
it's all engagement bait. So like that's why like it feels louder than it probably is. And which is ironic because we were clowning him for saying that like multiplayer players are a minority when they're a vast majority. But also like backlash like this and like, or not even call it backlash, but like opinions like this aren't as popular as it seems. It's just it's like what we see in sports and politics and all kinds of things. It's the loud minority that make themselves feel bigger than feel bigger than they actually are, just because they won't shut the fuck up, and it's like they just keep going.
Yeah,
and it's just like like people like Arc Raiders. It's a popular game. People are watching your stream. Like, what do you care? Like, I don't know.
I just think a lot of the streamers don't respect gaming as a medium. Like they just view it as like a hobby.
Which is bananas. Thinking how many of them.
No. He doesn't like bananas. We established that.
Very good. Well, it's just insane thinking that like they do what they do because of video games. It's like you were a pro Counter-Strike player. Like you are doing what you are doing. You got a massive bag from Mix. Was he a Mixer guy?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Think about it. You got a massive bag from Microsoft, and that you don't have to, so that you don't have to keep doing this, and that you're still going. Good for you. But I mean, if there's money on the table, go take it. I'm never going to fault anyone for
I mean, he does
that. But
charity
it's
stuff
just
too.
like,
I'm not faulting Shroud as like a
sure,
person
yeah,
here.
no.
Like, it's just the takes are insane. I do want to clarify this because we did touch on the Arc Raiders AI element, which even Shroud touched on. This is an interview with PC Games In. This is from Jamie Hoare, or Horahe, I believe. He
I
interviewed
hope it's the second one.
design director Virgil Watkins, and they said Arc Raiders in no way uses generative AI whatsoever. We use something called machine learning or reinforcement learning, and that's to do with the locomotion for our larger drones with multiple legs, but there's no generative content whatsoever. And then Jamie goes on to like press
And
on like,
I will say that's fine, because that's what that's what actual scientists do when they're
well,
making, like,
that's stuff that's been in games
things
forever.
like
Like,
that.
what? How do you think
Yeah.
the AI for like? It's a reason they call it AI for the CPUs or something like
Yeah,
a fighting
AI
game.
has been in games for
Yeah,
decades. It's
generative
like how
AI.
enemies respond to you. It's generative AI.
I'm gonna
That's the
I'm
problem.
not getting into the generative AI versus AI discussion because the whole point is the big AI companies, especially the big Gen AI companies that are like trying to force like their product down everybody's throat and put it into everything or whatever, is different. That is generative AI. The AI that most people were aware of before the whole AI bubble exploded into what it is now is
Mhm.
the AI in computer chips that is helping programs run better because it's optimizing the programs in the background for processors and stuff. The AI for video game enemies that you're playing against and like shooters and all these other like and like RPGs and like every game that's been around since forever. Like that kind of AI is very different than generative AI. Generative AI is what we all hate and what we don't want and what we've been talking about this entire time and taking a stand against. Machine learning AI is different. It can play into and or use generative AI, so you have to be careful. Slippery slope.
Mhm.
But you just hear the term AI and it's all bundled together because the big companies want it to be bundled together, so you can't differentiate actually good and helpful AI versus their slop. But Jamie here goes on to ask about the specifics of like the finals and like the voices and like all that
The
stuff.
text to speech system.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is where they clarify. As you stated, it's the same as the finals. We use text to speech model. That is, we hire and contract voice actors for it. It's part of their contract that we use it, and then the parentheses AI for this purpose. And that allows us to do things like our ping system where it's capable of saying every single item name, every single location name, and compass directions. That's how we get that without needing to have someone come in every time we create a new item and game. This is another slippery slope. This is an
Yeah.
issue with how much leverage did these voice actors have? What scale voice
Mhm.
actors were they? Did they just go hire people that they knew that they could coerce into doing this? Are the contracts predatory? How there's no, because voice actors, the same as developers for games, do not get royalties on stuff. They're not going to get,
Yeah.
they are now out of work because their voice is being used for this very specific contract. So it's not going to be like fed into a larger machine or anything. So it's not like the worst it could be. But again, slippery slope. Wanted to clarify that that is specifically what we're talking about with Arc Raiders here. So
Yeah.
moving on to our final portion of the. Oh, actually, there's one other portion because, of course, there. Basically, I'm just gonna sum up this Helldivers one. The Helldivers development studio is like so up and down in how they handle themselves with
Mhm.
discussing like it's such a satirical game, and it feels like some of the developers don't understand that, especially the higher ups at Arrowhead don't understand it because this is a just an excerpt that I'm going to read from uh the games business transcribed by VGC. This is Arrowhead CEO Shams Georgiani talking about the specifically the Arc Raiders backlash. This is such a trigger point for big parts of the games industry today. We're waiting for the courts to decide what is fair use and not. And there may be some similarities to the whole it's so over, we're so back, black and white takes of everything. I find that anything that is an AI related debate in the games industry ends up being on both sides of the spectrum. Either we have Square Enix executives talking about 75% being automated through QA, or we have developers who feel like their livelihood is completely on the very fabric of their being is being threatened, and therefore all AI is bad AI. Maybe could it be reality is somewhere in the middle? Could it be? The answer is no. The answer is no, it's not in the middle anywhere. You're talking like this because you don't want to take a side. I don't know why you spoke on this to begin with. I don't know what the context of why you were talking to the games business were. Maybe you were on a panel or of some kind here. No. The answer is no. And the game that you are making a ton of money on right now is specifically a highlight of what like falling into this trapping can be. This is stupid. Stupid take. It's not in the middle ground. It's either you're pro or you're anti. And if you're pro, you're not a creative. You're anti creativity. You're anti games media because games media is based on creativity. It's what it is. I don't think there's much more to add on that point. I don't think we needed to dive too far into that other than calling this a stupid take. So, you got anything to add there, Scott?
No, none of that here.
You want to get into some good news about a good game?
Let's get some good news.
Yeah. Dispatch. The developers call out AI usage as a solution for people who aren't creative. This is an interview with Brandon Caldwell over at GamesIndustry.biz. Nice to see GBiz getting like some exclusives. That's not something you see very often in terms of like developers. Usually like it's businessy. So that's interesting. This is just some quotes. This is a wider interview talking about like the development of like Dispatch and like how it went through like getting funding and like some pretty interesting stuff if you're interested in that. I specifically pulled two quotes from Nick Herman, the creative director, and then their executive director Michael Shung over at AdHoc, talking about the AI usage here, where Nick Herman goes, "No AI is going to do what he did." This is talking about Chase's voice actor Jeffrey Wright. He brought something to that character that we weren't expecting. I mean, his performance and Aaron's performance and our whole cast are bringing performances and elevating the material in a way that you're just not going to get with AI. You're not going to be surprised because it's built on something you've heard before if you go the AI route. So yeah, honestly, AI feels like a production solution, not a creative one. Maybe it's a creative one if you aren't creative. And this is important to highlight because that is what you hear every time someone brings up AI voice acting, AI anything like that is to do that. You're not getting the feedback. You do not have the person in the booth doing takes and giving feedback on their own takes on top of the feedback the directors are giving. Like, it's so important to have that. Like, some of the best performances, voice acting wise and acting wise, you get because someone gave a take that no one was expecting. And the director was like, that was incredible. Can we do it? Like, can we keep that energy, but do it this way? And then the person doing the thing is like, oh yeah, I can definitely do that. How about we try this? And it's a collaborative effort that you don't get when you're typing a prompt into your generator.
One of the great examples of this was, and this got a lot of like talk in the media, from the recent Superman film, was the like I don't even want to use the word argument, but like I guess it kind of was an argument where like David Cornsweet, I think is the actor's name. Cornsweet and James Gunn are going back and forth about it's like the scene toward the end of the film where like he's giving like a speech to Lex and they're talking about like where he's coming from when he's making this point, what his beliefs are, and like and it's a really great behind the scenes look and exactly speaking to what you're talking about, where it's like you don't get that from an AI voice prompt. You get that from two creative people who are like
Passionate.
Passionate, clashing a little bit, but perhaps still have a common goal, and they're trying to work toward that common goal, and they end up getting the result that they think is that they both want.
Coming from a place of passion and wanting to do justice to the material that you are trying to bring to life. God, what's his name? I can't remember the name. The voice actor for Cyborg in the Teen Titans show. He was at a panel recently, basically saying, I didn't know how much of an impact this is going to have, but the fact that I can come to some of these conventions and when I talk to people, I can see it in their eyes, even if they're young kids watching it for the first time or some kids that watched it that are now 30, I can see it in their eyes that it meant something because of how he delivered and how they put that show together. Like, you're not going to get that with AI at any level, even if it does get better. Like, you're not getting that. And then we'll say, this is the executive director, Michael Shung, talking. Whatever we're building, it has to connect. It's got to be made by people. It's got to connect to people. We're looking at AI. We're monitoring the stuff that AI is doing like everybody else, but it seems to be having a lot of trouble trying to get to a good enough spot. And good enough for us is the enemy. We're not getting up in the morning and talking to ourselves like, hey, what if we did this with less people? What's the lowest number of people we can use to make this thing? This is like not anything that we're too concerned with. We're certainly not going to sit here and judge others for making other types of decisions. I'll let Embark sort of speak for themselves because this is directly talking about Arc Raiders. For us, though, right now, it just doesn't make a ton of sense. So that's like more on the middle ground kind of approach of like, let people do what they do, but we're here to connect and we're here to create things with people. And then Jacksepticeye, who obviously voices Punch Up in the thing, just said, if I see AI art of a dispatch, I'm going to punch you. Like,
in the dick.
Yeah, I'm going to punch you in the dick. Like,
yeah,
there's a bunch of extremes here.
Yeah, I think what the executive director, what Michael Chung said, I really like. I think what really resonates with me is him saying like, we're not waking up thinking how can we do this with less people. Like the idea is like you should be waking up thinking how can we make this better, or how can we improve the quality, or how can we get to the piece of quality we want. And for them, at least for them, the answer is, not using AI because it's not there yet. Obviously he leaves it a little open that perhaps one day they will, but for now, it's not at the point where it is. If I'm being honest, I kind of hope it never gets to the point where it will be good enough. So hopefully, just people. I mean, hopefully, there's just been so much there's so much. I feel like there's just so much negativity toward it, even from just like normal people. Like, I just feel like maybe maybe it's a bubble, maybe it'll go away. Who knows? I feel like part of it, but like also like at the end of the day, that the real higher ups, the people at the very top making the utmost top, the highest decisions, they just want to do what's best for profits, and so
they're just going to keep pushing it because they all have money in it, and they know that it'll save them money in the long term to replace people with these products. And this AI is garbage. You know how it is.
I just think of like the what's it called, like the what's it called when like CGI gets too real? The uncanny valley.
Yeah.
I feel like there's going to be like a similar trend, but it's like the more AI is used, the more the quality dips to the point where now consumers just don't want it. And then now it's like, well, no matter you've made the process I think I talked about this last time. You've made the process cheaper, but now your profits are down because less people want it.
You did talk about this.
So now, so it's like, okay, it's like if you're spending less but making less, is that really worth it? Like, don't you want to just make more money overall in general? And so like that requires investing.
I think these companies
properly.
will justify it by looking at it like we can make more because less people are involved. But I did listen to a conversation, I can't remember where, talking about the specifics of like the worst case scenario here is that the AI slot machine will become the cheap option, and then that means the price of the human alternative will be driven up and price people out. And that's like the worst case scenario here because they have the money to potentially make that happen. We'll see. I that's like the worst case scenario. I think it'll just lead to more people just not buying things. And then unfortunately more piracy for like the expensive stuff. And so nobody wins here, but those are all different grounds. Speaking of pricing people out, Scott, you ready to move on to non-AI topics?
Sure. Please.
Yeah.
Kira's ready.
Kira's ready to get out of there. So this is a conversation that a Valve spokesperson kind of talked to Linus Tech Tips about. This is being pulled from Andy Robinson at VGC, where we kind of speculated that kind of like $600 to like $700 range, like around where the PS5 is right now. That $600 price point, I believe, is where the PS5 is post price raise ish, somewhere on there. Would be a good sweet spot for the Steam machine. Sounds like we were a little bit off the mark, and some of those people who are a little bit more pessimistic in terms of trying to price it closer to a like budget PC are gonna hit the mark closer, because Valve's newly announced Steam machine will be priced quote unquote like a PC rather than like a console. Valve wasn't able to give any specific numbers due to the rapidly evolving market conditions, but they will obviously have it nailed down when the Steam machine launches in Q1 2026 alongside the new Steam controller. This is from Linus Tech Tips. This is from Linus. They did offer me one hint, though. They said that while they expect to be a very competitively priced with a PC, it would be priced like a PC rather than like a console with games subsidizing the upfront hardware purchase. They wouldn't say why, but if I had to guess, it'd be say partially to avoid stepping on the margin opportunities of their potential partners for Steam games and Steam software, but also because they recognize that the Steam machine is a full-fledged PC. So there's no guarantee that say a corporate purchase of 10,000 of these things would result in a single game sale. So they really do need to protect the sustainability of their like harbor business, blah, blah, blah. So that's probably leaning closer to like the upper $800,000-$900,000 mark, which is going to be not the price point that like the me's and you's are interested in. It's going to much more be the.
I mean, my partner and I were planning on splitting it anyway, so we might still go for the lower
it's
end.
More dicey though, is what I'm saying.
More dicey, yeah.
The people that were like,
it's not like yeah, if it was 500, 600, like, yeah, sure thing, got it.
I'd hop on it instantly if it was 500,
800, 900, it's like, it's getting a little up there.
Because then at that point, if you're paying, that's the point where things get dicey, because yes, the ecosystem is nice and probably cheaper in the long run, so you'll probably save money on buying a lot of games, especially if you're going through a backlog, like if you're new to PC gaming or anything like that. But if you're just trying to get a platform where you want to play the games, you could buy a Switch and a bunch of games for $800, Switch 2 for $500 something, and then you get a bunch of extra money to buy games with. PlayStation 5, bunch of other games with. You could buy 2 consoles for that price. Start if it's to the point where you can buy a PlayStation 5 and a Switch 2 for the cost of a Steam machine, that's where I think you're gonna you're out of the market that I think would most benefit both sides. But
because everyone's talking about this as like as a competitor to consoles, it's like, well, if you're competing against consoles, you got to be priced like a console. So if you're I was like, if you're pricing like a PC, you assume people are going to use this instead of a PC, and I just don't think that's really the market you should be aiming for. Like, I feel like most people who are interested in this item, like you and me, we have PCs. They're very good. This wouldn't be as good as them.
Yeah. I don't know,
and they're expensive.
We'll
see. I think we'll get a price sooner than later, and we'll be able to then we can decide for ourselves. But yeah, I hope we land up in the middle. Like, we'll probably end up like 700. No, it's 750.
I'm hoping it's under 800, but I'm starting to lose a little bit of optimism.
It will be. It'll be $799.99.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah,
it's under 800.
I'm gonna we'll like kind of speed run some of this. I'm gonna cut a couple of these stories because we're running a little low on time. But this is a story about the Game Awards. First time in history, a game is actually pulled out of the Game Awards after being nominated. That is Mega Bonk, kind of like that Vampire Survivors 3D-esque game that kind of took over streaming and took over kind of Steam for a couple weeks there. Still very popular game. A new update's coming soon. The creator of the game, who is humorously listed as John Megabonk, says, "I'm withdrawing from the Game Awards. It's an honor and a dream for Megabonk to be nominated for TGA, but unfortunately I don't think it qualifies for the category of debut indie game, alongside like Blueprints, Clair Obscur Expedition 33, and several others along those lines. I've made games in the past under different studio names, so Megabonk is not my debut game." In a follow-up, he then added, "I really appreciate the nomination, support, and votes, but it doesn't feel right in this category. They are all amazing games. Thanks again. New Megabonk update coming soon." Just wanted to highlight that. That's interesting. Jeff Keighley also then posted, he'll share more when he's ready, but we respect that he didn't want to take recognition away from the other debut teams, even though the game itself is outstanding. So it doesn't look like they're replacing it. It's going to be the only category with 4 games in it instead of 5 or 6. But that's dope. That's a lot of like hard discussions probably within for himself, being like, do I like pull out of this because this was a big moment for me? I don't think he was going to win it anyways, but like he's not even going to be. Maybe they'll mention him on stage still, just to like shout him out. I think that's like a good thing to do. But
yeah, get some positive press out of it, which doesn't hurt. I'm not necessarily saying he's doing this to get positive press. I think
he doesn't need it, but like, feels like he's just a developer who cares. Like he cares about the scene.
Exactly.
So How much do you know about Hytale, Scott?
I know like Riot had it, and there was like apparently like the old founders just recently bought it off of themselves.
Yeah,
Is that what happened?
so that is what we're talking about now. Uh, Riot basically canceled a project by Hypixel Studios, 5 year. Um, after they basically bought this concept for a Minecraft like game called Hytale 5-ish years ago. It had been in development for a little bit before they purchased it, but they purchased it. It was under development under whatever compartment of Riot's development
Hmm.
team that isn't its main games. They canceled it earlier this year, and then now Hypixel went and bought it back. They just released a new trailer. They're talking about like early access stuff now because apparently it was pretty far along. In 5 years
Hmm.
of development, we'll do that, but they're going to talk about next steps soon. I just wanted to highlight that if you were interested in this potentially Riot
Yep.
published game, it is now coming back. Where there's more than 30 developers who are part of the original development team are back. Um,
Hmm.
they like rehired them after they were laid off from Riot,
Yep.
obviously. Studio is fully independent now. They purchased the rights back from Riot. Committed to funding Hytale for the next 10 years. Exact terms and kind of deal for the source of funding for Hypixel 2.0, as it's being called, have been shared. But kind of went in. This is Philippe Touchette talking about the co-funding project and, excuse me, Colin's Laflamme and Philippe Touchette co-funding the project and being like, "We are thrilled to announce that we have acquired Hytale from Riot Games. While it didn't make any sense for them to continue developing it in an existing form, they ultimately wanted what's best for the players, and that's for us to eventually play a revised versions of the game. We are grateful to Riot for making this possible." So that's cool. They're just trying to give, quote unquote, give the
Yep.
community their best shot. Good to hear that it's not just dead in the water.
Yeah. And like I'm not gonna sit here and be like the Riot Glazer, but I mean, they very easily could have just sat on this IP and these assets and been like, no, we're not gonna do it. We're gonna wait until we want to make it, and we bought it. Tough shit. It kind of reminds me of like the Giant Bomb stuff from early this year when
Yep.
when Giant Bomb when the whole fallout happened, they were gonna leave, and then they offered to buy it from Fandom. Fandom said sure. I mean, and again, Fandom could have just sat on it, been like, no, we want it, we're gonna keep it, or we're gonna relaunch with new people, pretend nothing happened, which would have been a fucking disaster. Like, and so, but they said no, you fine, we'll sell it back, you can have it. So yeah, and Simon, the founder, brings up in the post. Transitions like this are rare in the games industry. So
Very
the
rare.
fact that it was able to happen is great. I actually hadn't really known too much this game. I knew it was at Riot, but the last time I heard of it was I hadn't heard anything about it until I heard it was canceled. So I was like, okay, whatever, move on. But I mean, I'll check it out. I'll check it out when it comes out. I love that they said we're committed to funding it for the next 10 years. So clearly they're pretty well funded. They have a team of at least over 30 developers. They're bringing up rehire people.
Yep.
Yeah, love seeing more independence. So yeah, some good news.
Yep.
Finally.
Uh, two more story, Scott, and then we're going to get. Are you going to redeem yourself with your game? Is the question.
Mm,
Uh,
probably not.
well, we can hope. Hey, give yourself some credit. You did okay in the last round last time.
That's true.
Uh, so this is just a little. Actually, it's three stories. I'm just gonna run through them. Just pop up if you want to talk about any of them. Fortnite is teaming up with. There's obviously leaked, but they're teaming up with Quentin Tarantino and for a Kill Bill themed season. Uh,
Finally, barefoot skins.
well, Rena's gonna be barking. Uh, but yeah, so the interesting thing about this is not just that it's like a full season, like it's fully integrating like Kill Bill and everything. But
Yeah.
it is going to, so it's tying into the movies being bundled together as like the Kill Bill, the whole bloody affair coming back to theaters and stuff.
Mhm.
But it's also going to include like a theming around like an unfilmed scene that was originally supposed to be in part one, called the lost chapter Yuki's Revenge. Quentin Tarantino and Uma Thurman announced this for Fortnite. Uh, like removed it for pacing reasons from the original film. Like this is just really cool. It seems like a really interesting switch up for a season, especially coming out of The Simpsons.
Mhm.
It's like
Yeah, big switch up after.
yeah, like that's just interesting. I thought it was kind of cool. I wanted to highlight that it's gonna like actually include like original content for like
Mhm.
this. I'm excited for this one because I'm a big Vampire Survivors guy. Vampire Crawlers is a spin-off sequel announced today during the Xbox showcase that happened. It is a first-person deck-building Vampire Survivor spin-off coming next year.
We put Balatro in Vampire Survivors.
Basically, yeah. It's this is just a spin-off of Vampire Survivors, hopefully the first in a series of spin-offs. Punko co-founder, Compo founder and CEO Luca Galante said, the idea is to take some of the core pillars behind the development of Vampire Survivors and to apply them to existing genres. I'm talking about accessibility, immediacy, affordability, replayability, and sparkly stuff. Tons of sparkly stuff. With regards to a sequel to Vampire Survivors, we're working on something, but we're not ready to talk about it yet. Very excited. Love this concept for like a series of spin-offs.
Yeah.
Where it's just like Vampire Survivors, such a hit, such a well-designed, crafted thing that touched on so many different areas. The Castlevania stuff in that is so good. I'd never played it before. I got a code last Halloween for it when it launched. I really didn't get around to it until this summer, and I played 40 hours of it. Like, it's such a good experience, especially as a Castlevania. Like, I like Castlevania quite a bit. So, hearing that they're doing this card game looked interesting. I don't know how excited I am for it, but, like, I'm going to play it. I'll buy it and play it, especially affordability being listed there. Like, the attention to detail that they're going to have, the updates, the potential crossover content that's going to be really well handled. I'm really interested to see where else they go with, like, this Vampire Survivor element in other genres. That's really interesting. I'm hyped for that. And then the last little bit here, just wanted to highlight a couple updates coming to Ghost of Yotei, and then Mafia: The Old Country, both free updates. Ghost of Yotei is getting New Game Plus, more trophies, and a little bit of other extra stuff. They're like, so new difficulty getting added, a couple of new trophies. There's like new cosmetics with like a new currency that you're gonna be able to collect. So new upgrades and stuff. So that's cool, especially for you because you're gonna get to play it like with that stuff from the start.
Yeah, I'll have it all from the beginning. Excellent.
And then Mafia: The Old Country is also getting a big free update with new modes and new content. The free ride update, free expansion is gonna add cars, a car and horse races, combat challenges, new first person driving mode, photo mode, classic difficulty mode, new weapons, charms, cars, outfits, etc. So
no Game Awards mentioned for no Game Awards appearance.
Yeah, which is weird because a lot of people really liked it. Didn't review very well. Like it reviewed okay. It was like high 70s for a lot of people. I think is the critic average or something like that. So yeah. Wasn't going to be in like any of the big categories, but interesting. Again, Sea of the Stars, Sword of the Sea. God, I almost said Sea of Stars, which is an RPG. Yeah, like those are two pretty big snubs in terms of not being mentioned at all.
Pretty big, yeah.
Interesting. Okay, Scott, ready to wrap it up with the game?
Sure.
Alrighty.
Don't worry, Kira. I'm gonna try and throw again so you can get your dinner faster.
Alrighty. Let's wrap this up. First two games, Scott. Okay, recap for how this works. We're doing over/under review scores. Scott has
that's right.
two options on the screen. He has to guess which one has the higher review score according to Open Critic averages.
Last week was bad.
Your high score last week was 4. You're
trying to beat three of them. I think three of them
were all 83s. Yes, they were all. You just got lucky.
Scores, so I couldn't get the question wrong.
So
all right,
here we go, Scott. First two games. Remember, you have to beat 10.
Okay, 10. God, we're gonna be here all year.
Hi-Fi Rush or Kingdom Hearts 2?
Ooh, Hi-Fi Rush. I'm gonna say Hi-Fi Rush.
89, 84. You got it.
Okay.
Hi-Fi Rush, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot.
Let's say Hi-Fi Rush.
89 over 74. You got it.
Okay.
Dragon Ball Z Kakarot or New Pokemon Snap?
I'm going to say New Pokemon Snap.
80 over 74. You got it.
All right.
New Pokemon Snap or Deathloop?
Deathloop.
88 over 80. You got it.
Yeah, Deathloop was good. Deathloop was very good.
Deathloop or Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2?
I'm going to say Deathloop on this one. I guess it's close. It's going to be close, but I think Deathloop's still higher.
89 over 88. You lost.
And Tony Hawk got
1 plus 2 got an
a Tony Hawk
89,
remake got a higher score than Deathloop,
which was nominated for Game of the Year, I believe, the year it came
yeah,
out.
that's what I'm saying.
Crazy.
Like it's
That
the
is
Arcane
crazy.
Studios, like, and they're in their bag, and then like this. Oh my god.
Okay, Scott.
Damn it.
Guess what? Hey, you tied your high score.
And honestly, that's a more impressive one because there were no ties that I couldn't lose.
You ready to go again?
Let's go again.
You got 2 more tries.
I know, Kira, I'm trying to be bad,
But you want to win though.
I want to win, Kira.
Okay. Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection or Redfall?
I'm gonna say the Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection. Final answer.
88 over 57. You got it.
God, because it was that bad.
Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection or Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time.
Okay, so I'm essentially guessing did Crash Bandicoot get an 89 or higher? And I'm gonna say no. So I'm gonna say Uncharted.
Former Naughty Dog.
I know, right?
You said Uncharted is what you're guessing?
I'm gonna say Uncharted is the higher one.
88 over 85. You got it.
Okay.
Crash Bandicoot, It's About Time, or Call of Duty Black Ops 4.
Black Ops 4.
I told you what the score was. Oh, that might have been Metacritic.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Crash Bandicoot was higher. I'm gonna say like COD was like a high 70, low 80.
85 over 84. You got it.
Whew, that was close.
Call of Duty Black Ops 4 or Dredge. Dredge is the horror game, like the horror kind of like fishing.
Yeah, horror fishing game.
Came out around the same time as Dave the Diver. They had a crossover.
They had a really cool crossover. Yeah. I'm gonna say Dredge was higher.
84 to 82. You lost.
Dredge is so much better than Black Ops 4. God damn it.
All right, Scott. Last try.
All right, last try.
Maybe I have to drop it to 5. Jesus Christ.
10's hard.
All right. This sucks for you. Okay. You know, Persona 5 Tactica or Mad Max?
I'm going to say Persona 5 Tactica. I like Mad Max, but I don't think it was reviewed that well.
78 over 69. You got it.
Nice.
This is going to be...
A Persona game in the 70s. That's crazy.
It's a spinoff. It's like a tactical...
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I think it was on 3DS too.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Persona 5 Tactica or Marvel's Avengers?
Oh, man.
This is going to be a weird round.
That's tough. Here. How bad was Marvel's... I feel like... The only person I know who liked Marvel's Avengers was Greg Miller. I'm going to say Persona 5 Tactica was better. I think like Marvel's Avengers was like low 70s.
78 to 68. You got it.
Wow, 68.
This is the biggest gimme of all time. Marvel's Avengers or Grand Theft Auto 5.
All right, I think about this one. I'm going to say well, I mean, one game had Captain America, and the other was like, the industry standard for success in the video game.
The industry standard is now.
It's GTA 5. GTA 5 was
92 to 68. You got it.
92. Very good. Very good.
Oh, this one's actually might be hard in terms of like,
okay.
Grand Theft Auto 5 or Nier Automata. From a review perspective, this is actually nuts to try and compare.
I'm gonna say Nier Automata got like a 93 or 94.
You're betting the house on going over a 92.
Yes, I am.
You're incorrect. Grand Theft Auto 5 92, Nier 89.
89. Oh.
That was close. That's a good one to end on. That's a very.
I thought it reviewed better. I mean, 89's in the scoff.
That GTA mass appeal. Nier Automata probably threw some people off with like its multiple endings and stuff.
Yeah.
So
that's fair.
Got to take that into account. Well,
all right. Well, I think I did better, even though I don't think my score improved.
You got 4 again.
Yeah, so my score improved, but I felt I did better.
Yeah, you did. You're getting a feel. You're getting a feel. Next week for sure, Scott.
Yeah, I'm sure. Okay. All right. It's
yeah.
dinner time in this household. She's let me know about it. So
I'm gonna go see the Brendan Fraser movie. The Rental Family.
Oh, okay. All right. Have fun.
I will. Everybody, thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed the conversation. Let us know what you think of. God, don't talk about AI. Let us know what your favorite. I don't know, your favorite PS2 game is.
Which of my two pets do you like better, the dog or the cat? That's
Can't even see Peter.
I know. Yeah. Well, hold on. Yeah, because the white's kind of low.
He's just hanging out a little bit.
Can you see him? Oh, you see him move a little. Yeah, he's
just
a little
bit. All right, who do you like better, Kira or Peter?
I'm not answering that.
Okay, well, I'm talking to I'm talking to the viewers. They can answer in the comments below.
How dare you?
I don't know.
All right. Bye, everyone.